the motion would be to approve the consent agenda without the 2020 Blue Care Network renewal.
Yep, I'm good with that.
Okay.
All right,
Ready to vote?
you good with that, Joe?
Yes.
Okay. Vote, please.
Mrs. Chenoweth?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, so I guess at this point we need to discuss that.
But we can put, we didn't decide where to put it, but do you want to do it before the presentations or just after the presentation?
I'd say let's take care of it right now. We're in item 5, so.
All right.
Your questions, Mary?
So it was a renewal of everything the same as what we have now,
Yep.
coverage?
Yep.
And the increase was what percent?
7%?
And did we go out for bid on it?
Nope,
Compare anything?
nope.
Okay. Why? I mean, we usually do that.
Well, I think that when you look at the consideration of the employees who the healthcare is generally for, the package has been probably the best package we've had in a long time in terms of the value to the employees, and that's why we did it.
Okay.
When is the last time we went out for bid on? I just
Um,
wondered.
Probably
Like 3 years
2 years
ago,
ago,
2
3 years
years
ago,
ago.
2 years ago.
We, at that time, I think we had a 16% decrease from the year before. So we're almost still kind of making up that, not that we make it up, but the way the price of healthcare goes up. I think
There was a
that,
big change in benefit coverage too, when we got that decrease.
Yeah.
So
it was.
it's not that we got a decrease, now we're getting back to where we were. Okay.
All right, any other questions?
I'm good.
Okay, we'll move on.
I think we need a motion to
Need a
approve
motion to
that. Yeah.
approve.
I would move to approve the renewal of the Blue Cross Blue Shield package.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
All right. Next item, announcements and information inquiry. Township offices will be closed on Tuesday, December 24th and Wednesday, December 25th in observance of the Christmas holiday. The offices will also be closed on Tuesday, December 31st and Wednesday, January 1st in observance of the New Year holiday. And so the next item, swearing in of firefighters. Chief, would you like to take that?
If I can get County Chief Weiskel, County Chief Laskowski up here, please, as well as Brian, Derek, and Aaron. Getting used to doing this, coming up here a lot. It's my pleasure to announce that we have 2 members of our department that will progress from the probationary firefighter rank to the rank of firefighter. Firefighter Mike Moore, badge 211, began his journey here in 2018. Brendan Freeman as well, badge number 212. On average, it takes roughly 12 to 18 months to achieve the certification of Michigan Firefighter 1 and 2, Emergency Medical Technician, logging hours of vehicle operation, and HGFD community and operation competency testing. To put this in perspective, each candidate must complete approximately 700 hours of training, testing, not only for the state but also for our department. They also must maintain a response to 15% of emergency calls. Annually, we run about 1,400 runs a year, all while juggling their family lives. At the December 11, 2019 Charter Township of Highland Board meeting, I'd like to request that we recognize these members for their achievements and have them sworn in. Tonight with Firefighter Moore, we have his mom, Laura, dad, Dave, his girlfriend, Lori, his son, as well as members of his club, Noslin, raise your hands. With Brendan tonight, we have his mom Karen, his sons Derek and Aaron, and his aunt Molly. If I can get the two firefighters to come up here, we'll have you sworn in.
All right. Raise your right hand. I do solemnly
swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
the duties of firefighter
the duties of firefighter
in and for the Township of Highland,
in and for the Township of Highland,
County of Oakland, and State of Michigan,
County of Oakland, and State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
As tradition holds, they'll be giving up their probationary helmets and be issued their
I missed the first
full
part of it.
status helmets. Ryan, if you'd like to give your dad his helmet. We're gonna start something new tonight. This year we received our badges. As you can tell by the patch, we kind of rebranded ourselves. We have new badges. These are the first two badges issued to our department members. Mike Moore. Derek Aaron, you like to give your dad his helmet? Thank you. Can you give him a high five or a hug or anything? That's okay. Chief Weissel?
Thank you very much, Chief.
Look forward to working with you. And make sure you still move to your phone.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Just one second, I want to get a picture of you with your.
Handing the helmet off, maybe?
Nice.
There you go, that's a good one.
Flip your helmet around.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. We'll sneak you out now.
Stay if you want.
Hold on, I'll introduce you here. Yeah, you can stay there for a minute. We'll let the noise kind of settle down a little bit here. Okay, so for those that are, I don't want to knock them down here. Okay, move to the next item, presentation by the Director of Highland Downtown Development Authority, Missy Dashovich.
What this is there's a new tax law. It's TIF 57, PA 57, and it requires, would you stop? It requires us
It's doing it itself.
to do an informational meeting 2 times a year. This is the second, and you can go on to the next one. The purpose is to inform the public of the goals and direction of the authority, including projects to be undertaken in the coming year. This is not a meeting for the purpose of voting for policy, budget, or other, sorry Mary, I'm blocking you, authority or operational matters. Informational meetings may be held in conjunction with other public meetings, which is tonight, and we follow the same public comment guidelines as the Highland Township. So, mission and statement, I'm not going to read it word for word, but basically we're comprised of residents, business owners, property owners, and community leaders. We are dedicated to historic preservation and promoting the economic growth. We strive to,
Sorry about that.
Highland Station is one of a charming modern hamlet, attractive historical homes, vibrant small businesses, a healthy lifestyle. We want to include our state land in that. And also we want it to be a place, a sanctuary, an oasis from the 59 car hustle bustle. to improve the economic environment, bring workshops designed for our businesses, continue to educate businesses of the resources that Oakland County offers, such as the one-stop shop, create a there. We need to establish a place here in Highland. It improves the awareness of we want to improve the awareness of downtown. We do that by events and festivals. We want to create a sense of community and belonging. A gateway, you have arrived. Here you are, you're in Highland now. So you can go, click. Improve the appearance of downtown. We want to continue our streetscape improvements. We want to do wayfinding signage. A gateway fits in here as well. Continue to be involved with our township government and other community organizations. We work hard at being part of the community roundtable. We participate with our Highland Business Association, Highland Township Library, and Huron Valley Schools. So, we also want to build our volunteer base. We want to continue recruiting. We want to involve the younger population, such as you young men there. We want to do more training and show appreciation to our volunteers. Our volunteers. In March, we did, for the community of Highland, we hosted and organized a community volunteer fair for Highland. So in fact, that advertisement is from Milford High School paper. So, yep. These are some of our volunteers. Mary Pat, I think, is right there in the corner. So we have Eugene Beach. And Emma, she's one of our best volunteers, one of our young ladies. So next, enhancements of our downtown as well as maintenance. So here's some pictures of our streetscape. We do lean more towards the native. We are planning to kind of up that a little bit this year, kind of clean it up, still have a native flair, but just kind of calm it down. We have our banner program. Interpretive signage was and I see
sorry, it's doing its own thing.
Yeah, streetscape. These are interpretive signage. One is to talk about the history of what that corner looked like back in the day. Wait just a second, Rick. The other one here is to talk about our native landscape, why it's here. This was what it used to be back in our state land and stuff. This was actually done with a grant. It was a 5-star grant. We did part we paid for and part they paid for. They did like 1,536. Okay, you can go now, Rick. Okay, this is the our gateway we were talking about. We are working on a arch, and this has been in the works for a long time. We are hoping that it would go up at Governor Crapo in that area there. We are talking about doing that. Well, let's say start planning for it next year. I can't say it'll happen next year. There's a lot that goes into that. So
I'm going to throw in a little bit of
Sure,
info on that. What happened is one of the members of the board for the DDA, they own Fragments on Milford Road, and his brother-in-law is an architect, and he had drawn up this image of a archway over the Milford Road as something to be a creative piece. And this is kind of his goal, and this is a very simplified graphic of the thought process where there's a train and train tracks and, you know, identifier that you're in Highland Station or the downtown Highland. So
yeah, it's an art piece. It's a place, you know, you have arrived kind of thing. We're quite proud of that, and we're excited about it. So you can go on. Economic vitality. We work hard at helping our businesses, helping their businesses thrive. One of the things is we have a subsidy grant, a rental subsidy grant. So we offered, with the help of Genesis and Main Street Oakland County, we offer this grant for $2,500 that they get within a 6-month period. We pay so much of their rent, and they also get a free membership at the Huron Valley, Highland White Lake Business Association. Sorry about that. One grant was submitted for Earth and Soul. We do plan to continue that next year with, another application offer. By the end of 2019, we will have organized and advertised for 3 special retail events: Summer Sidewalk Sales, Shop Small Saturday, and Ladies Night Out. We meet, and we keep in close contact with our businesses. We do advertising for them, like local paper advertisement, social media with booths, digital sign advertisement. When I say digital, it's not only here, but we did a piece on 59, just west of Bogey Lake Road, the big sign. And marketing materials such as posters, yard signs, and postcards. So we pay for that for them. So you can, okay, this is some of the examples of these special events. We did a new logo. The Township and Highland DDA worked together to create a new logo branding for Highland Township. Main Street, Oakland County offers us what we call a tech visit for being a DDA and part of Main Street. This is what Highland Township, which we're all very proud of, and then ours, we critiqued more to suit us. Those are actually buildings along Milford Road there by 59. The church's daycare center there. And the white sketches is what's there now. The brown sketches is what we would like to see happen to expand on that. We placemaking and promotions. Sounds like summer concert series. That was the summer. There was 6 concerts. We'll do that again next year. This is pictures of the concert. You can go. Okay, this is Founders Day Parade. So we bring things we did the parade, we helped with the parade, we provided this train for the parade and free rides for the children. We participate in all the festivals that come in. We also did we brought back the Highland Farmers Market, which the schools started years ago, and it kind of went to the wayside for a couple of years, and we brought that back. Also with a grant offered by Main Street, Oakland County. So it was kind of a half and half. We do things to include the public, make them feel part of their downtown contest, scarecrow contest, sidewalk art contest, placemaking events, also our tree lighting. This was a couple years ago, or last year's tree lighting. This is enjoyed by all. I'm sure some of you, it's been around a long time, and you may have participated in this in your younger years. This is our festival of trees. It's the trees that line Milford and Livingston Road. We also plan to continue this. Future plans. Continue with the events we have established and partnered with, such as the Founders Day, Parade and Festival, sounds like summer concert series, farmers market, scarecrow, sidewalk, chalk art, annual tree. Continue. We already did that. Retail events. We'll continue with all of that. All the ones I mentioned, sales and stuff to help increase the economy. So, reintroduce the facade and sign grant program. We have a grant that we offer our businesses in the district where they can do a facade grant or sign grant, and it's a 50-50. We'll help pay for that to improve their the appearance. We're going to offer historic window training classes.
This thing is on its own autopilot. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
Okay,
We're going to place a few outdoor chairs in key locations to encourage you guys to go and gather, sit down, research some wayfinding signs. We'll continue with our current banner programs. We're going to roll out our military banner program, where we want to honor our military. Work with businesses along the streetscape to create a continuity, like maybe all the businesses have yellow pots, I don't know, planters. So when you come downtown Highland, you know where you're at. It's beautiful. We all work together to do a wow factor. Consider construction of the Arch Gateway project. We've done all the feasibility studies and everything, so we're ready to jump into that. We're gonna continue meeting with our retailers, bring marketing and similar workshops to all of our businesses, offer the rental subsidy, and encourage education to our volunteers. One thing before I end, the classes that we're bringing to our businesses, they're not just run-of-the-mill classes. These are they're either a very low price or free, but it doesn't mean that they're not important. Main Street Oakland County has spent considerable money, and we do too, to bring those to our businesses. So, questions?
Just gonna make you do it all over again.
No, but I would like to introduce some of my volunteers and board that are here tonight. Cassie Blasick here in the front, she's one of our board members. This is Chris Hamill, she's our treasurer, wouldn't know what to do without her. Brian Howe, you probably know him. He is on her promo committee, but he's always there if I need help, such as escorting Santa because he's tall.
Except for this year, I couldn't make it.
Well, that's okay, but you're usually there.
Yeah.
Mary Pat Chenoweth here. She helps with the concerts. Her favorite concert, the Beatles, or
Mine too.
Most. Yeah. So, and she's always, you saw her working in the garden. Her family gets involved with different events. Judy Cooper, she's the chair of our Economic Restructuring Committee. She keeps us on our toes. And we have Rick Hamill here. So he's active in everything. So, and these guys here, the rest of them, they're always here if we need them to participate or volunteer for the community, for the DDA. So, are we
All
good?
right, good, thank you.
Thank you.
Say something real quick?
Yeah,
I've been working with Missy, I think since I started first term and got involved in the concert series, and she works very hard, and it's always honored to work with her, and she brings in great artists, and we're building that up. It's taken a while, some frustrating nights,
No.
begging people to come out, but I always said, I think the people think free concerts are not good concerts, and we bring in some great acts, and I just want to say she does a great job, and I put our acts up with anybody, we do a good job. She works very hard and always sending us clips to listen to, and it's a teamwork, but she does a really good job. So it's been an honor to work with you over there. I really enjoy it.
Couldn't do it without all the volunteers.
Now you can take a little bit of credit too,
Oh,
though.
the fire.
So.
Oh, yeah, the fire department, that's true. They were a great help at my tree lighting.
Sure.
We couldn't do it without them.
In the concert series when
Oh,
we
yes,
had to
the
move them
that's
inside,
right.
that
Yeah, the
was
toppermost
awesome.
inside, that was sweet.
Pardon? Oh, they sponsored a tree,
Yeah.
yeah. She keeps me on track too. Together we can make it.
all right, well, thank you very much. Sorry for the
No, that's okay.
autopilot this thing was, for some
I thought
reason.
you were just
Must've
wanting
been
me on.
separate.
No, they've
It's
changed the
message.
software, Let's do an update and see if we can make it go weird on us, so it succeeded. Well, thank you,
Nice job,
Missy,
Miss.
and keep up the good work.
Thanks.
All right, we're gonna move on to our next section, public comment. Mr. Raymond?
You already know that, right? That's why it always looks to me. Dennis Raymond, 6039 Fish Lake Road. I'm here tonight just to tell the board, next week, I will be meeting with Paul Groth, myself, to try to resolve a 20-year-old conflict between Jeremy Stockey and Unwanted Autos by running a repair business and a junkyard. The thing is that hopefully this will get resolved this time around, because it's been about 6 or 7 times that we've been to court, not myself, but the township. And this guy constantly, for 20 years, has ignored the township rules, the judge's rules, and the judge's orders. Basically, I'm tired of it for 20 years. So hopefully, this time around, this will get done. Because if not, I'll be here again next year, and you'll have to look at me all next year until this gets resolved. I'm just fed up with it. And just yesterday, I was telling Lieutenant Snyder, him and Sean were saying that he had sold one of his trucks to Daniel Scott on S.A. Lane. The black truck. He has a white one. Just yesterday, he took the black one out of his driveway, didn't have a car on it. I don't know how, I don't have the times handy, but Daniel Stock came right out of Estee Lane with 2 junk cars. Came back empty and brought out 2 more. They just keep playing games with, collectively, you guys, okay, because he just keeps playing games. Saturday or Friday night, he brought in the cars. And the reason why I could see Friday night, because I could see them right out of my windows in my living room. He brings them in after everybody leaves. My cameras are date and time stamped. Saturday and Sunday, he brought them out, okay? And then when I call Sean or Ken, like they were there about a week or so ago, there's nothing there. Well, naturally, it's because he cleaned them all up on Saturday and Sunday, and these pictures are time and date. Not only that, he had another company haul out one of his cars, which I have a nice big blow up of to show Paul. So all I'm saying is that this is, you wanna keep putting up with me, you're gonna keep putting up with me until this gets resolved. Because this guy's been doing this for 20 years. Why can't he, like every other business, buy a storefront or, excuse me, vacant property and be able to collect taxes? This guy makes $180,000 a year doing this, and you let him operate there instead of telling him to move somewhere else? To me, that doesn't make any kind of sense. When other owners, okay, junkyards or whatever, they're paying like everybody else is. And this guy gets away with it for 20 years. Okay, and again, Ken was out and we were happened to be leaving, my wife had to go to the doctor, and we discussed it, that there was nothing there. But yeah, because he's moved it out ahead of time.
Yeah. Well, Dennis, thank you for continuing to be our monthly friend. I mean that in jest, of course, but I'd like the board to know that we had a meeting with Gary Dovry, our attorney, and Paul Groth, our attorney, and Sean, and who else do we have there? I think Lisa Burkhart was there, and this is the result that you're reporting, is that Paul Groth was told to get a hold of you, and we're moving this thing forward. So, and your assistance, as you have agreed to do, is what's going to make it work, because we have to have somebody that can verify it. So your dated pictures, whatever we can use, that's what we got to put together to make it stick.
Yeah, well, my file to Paul is already, this is it from 2006, because technically he was told by the court not to do this and this, so these are basically, I believe they're all show causes.
All right, well, thank you very much, and we appreciate it. So, next report, 30 days or so, and hopefully it's going to be a different story.
Something will happen.
We're going to keep on top of it. So,
Okay,
thank you very much. All right, anybody else, public comment? Okay. I do want to make a statement. I think that what anybody that's been coming to our meetings can see that Mr. Raymond has, and myself at least, and I think the board as well, are trying to work together to solve a problem, and it is a problem. And so I want to thank Mr. Raymond for, putting up with, I don't know, thank you for putting up with it, but for, seeing that we're trying to help at this point, because we did have a discussion to move forward from ground zero now, so that we can make better motions and movements for that. So thank you, Mr. Raymond, and we are going to figure this out.
Just one quick comment.
Okay.
I've been out here for 31 years. When we first moved out here, real nice area, I loved it. I have plenty of opportunities. In fact, I used to live in St. Clair Shores, so it's a long way to make a change. The neighbor before him was fine, then when he moved in, it's like all hell broke loose, okay? And it's just ridiculous, because it's so quiet except for him. And prior to you dealing with Trish, there's been weekends where he'd have 90 cars on a weekend going in and out. My question is, how would you guys like it? You moved out here, it's quiet, I have 3.5 acres, I'm just tired of it.
We understand that, so thank you. All right, so the next item, number 8, if nobody wants to make a motion to go into closed session, we can move forward. All right, so no motions made. then what we're gonna do is move on to new business, item 9, and this is consider approval of consent judgment in Highland versus Fraternic et al., Oakland County Court Case number 2019-177470 CC.
Provide some brief background.
Yes.
So that case number corresponds to a condemnation lawsuit filed by the township to acquire a 5-acre site on M59 for new fire station 1. And it is a consent judgment between the township, the property owner, and Consumers Energy Company and DD Electric Company, who have recorded easement interests in the main parcel that the 5 acres is coming from. 5-page document, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. It's been signed off on by the attorneys for those 3 entities. The fourth defendant in the case complaint and a request for a default judgment against it is scheduled for hearing next Wednesday, December 18th. This consent judgment would require and provide for the township to pay $212,000 to the property owner. In exchange, the township would end up being the owner of the property, and that would be retroactive to October 22nd of this year, which is the date the complaint to condemn the property was filed. Once the consent judgment is entered, the township would have immediate possession of the property. The consent judgment also requires that the township would be responsible for processing the lot split to separate the 5 acres from the 61.77 acre parcel it's a part of. It resolves the case except for the issue against General Telephone Company. I recommend that you approve it, and I can answer any questions you may have about it.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve the consent judgment in Highland versus Futternick et al. OCCC number 20, is that the right number? 2018 or is it 2019? 177470 CC.
Support.
Moved and supported. A vote, please.
I vote yes.
Yes?
No,
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, the next item, B, which we converted to a status update of agreement with Partners in Architecture. Gary, you want to kind of do some background on that one, or?
Yeah, I can. Back in November, I was provided with the draft documents from Partners in Architecture. They proposed using form documents by the American Institute of Architects. And I blessed you folks with those on Friday. I don't know if anyone had a chance to look at them. They are lengthy, they are technical, yet they're tightly written. I identified a host of changes to the main agreement. I met with Rick, Tammy, Judy, and Ken on Monday morning. And Ken was able to share with me that he understood that Partners in Architecture also had some issues with the standard so-called AIA documents. So our consensus was, rather than try to scramble around and try to work all those things out before tonight, that we would simply target the January meeting as a date to approve documents. In between now and then, my task is to get those worked out with Partners in Architecture to the point where I can recommend approval to the Township Board. The documents would provide for use of an approach to construction called design build, and that is becoming more popular, but it is different than the traditional construction method where you would separately hire an architect, they would do all the designs for the project, then you would go to bid on those, get a contractor to build the project. The design build approach unifies the architecture with the main contractor or builder. So it, on the face of it, it creates a more teamwork-like approach. But it's different at any rate. So I think there's some changes that need to be made before I'm comfortable recommending it. Back in April of 2018, this is before your millage vote, Partners was approved to do the work on this project. And in that motion, there was a desire to have cost estimates for both stations and the stations individually. And we talked on Monday that at least that would be appropriate to bring forward to the board, because as you recall from last meeting, Partners has done a lot of work on this project to the point where we had concept, elevation, and floor plan drawings. So I think Ken was going to see if those current cost estimates couldn't be made available to the board tonight. I don't think you've ever decided with certainty what you actually want to build. Do you want to build one station, or do you want to build two stations? So that's the basic background. I'm confident that between now and your January meeting, the legal end of it can be worked out. So.
Okay, that's status. Anybody have any questions?
No.
All right, so no questions on that, and we'll wait for the next round of what was that?
The cost estimates per station, the whole project was they're gonna do it for under the 8.5 million, but they couldn't give us an exact number on how much one would be, how much two would be. We still gotta get the topographical, we gotta look at the, bring in all the dirt for station two, and there's a ton of stuff that they need to firm up before they can come up with an actual number. But they can give us the ballpark. And that was 5.2 for station one, and then 3.3 for station two.
Okay. Right, so
So my plan is to review the documents with the idea that the township is going to contract to have both stations built. So if there's an issue with that, I would need to know that, so I don't spend energies on an approach that you don't want to do.
Those not to exceed numbers.
You know, so the idea is after they have the surveys done,
Right.
and they can figure out what site work has to be done, they will give us a guaranteed maximum price.
Okay. So it's
And
just a high ball.
we're not at that point yet,
Okay.
but we're targeting to get both stations done under, within the 8.5 million.
Okay.
so do you feel that the board needs to make a vote type
No,
statement?
I'm telling you, the contract that's been presented is to build both stations.
Yeah, that was,
And
If we want something different, we need to
and
say.
unless the board wants to tell me, no, we're not sure on that, or no, we want you to approach the contract review differently, I'm gonna review it with the idea that it's to build both stations, and won't concern myself with
all right,
trying to.
Brian, one or two stations?
I thought it was for two.
Okay,
For
Mary
sure.
Pat,
Two.
two?
Two.
Two.
All right,
Okay.
Proceed.
I think that's what the public's expecting also.
Right.
Mary?
One or two stations.
One,
Okay. So, move on to the next item. Gary, you got your calls.
Okay.
Call to do. So the next item is to proceed with topographical and geotechnical surveys, and I'll give a little brief history on that. The topographical is so they can get the grades and elevations accurate to be able to know what their fill and cut and fill will be for the stations. Station one is fairly flat, even though a foot over 1,000 foot can make a huge difference in terms of volumes, they still need to have those elevations. Then the geotechnical surveys, because we're going to be doing geothermal, and they're using what's called a vertical geothermal, which is wells, as opposed to a horizontal geothermal, which would be trenches. There's a requirement to do a boring to 450 feet. to prove out that there's not some type of an issue with the ground or groundwaters or elements that could cause the geothermal to be ineffective or to be, maybe even be an issue. If they drill down and they hit bedrock at 50 feet, we're kind of in trouble. So it needs to be done. It's a requirement of the project to make it work. And in this process that we've been kind of going through with the contractor, or with partners, is that they've been doing the expectation is that they were the ones that were looking for the contractors that would be qualified to do those types of things, as opposed to us personally going out and trying to find somebody to do geotechnical. And so they vetted multiple companies and came back with the two proposals. And according to our attorney, we probably need to look at this differently. I mean, we've presented it as a request for approval tonight, but there is the purchase policy that
I think
we have
what
to
he
look
was
at.
saying is that if we make a motion to approve this, it would just be, we have to include waiving the purchasing
Right.
policy.
Right.
But
Yes, because both of your bids, I think, are over $10,000, which the
Right.
purchasing policy from August of 17 requires sealed competitive bidding. It's my understanding that while that may not have been used, you do have quotes that partners in architecture obtained from the firms that do this kind of work, and that has resulted in the candidates for the two different aspects of the work. So if you were inclined to do this, and we've waived the purchasing policy over the last couple of years in different situations, it would be to approve the contracts, waive the purchasing policy, and if you wanted to give a reason for that, it may be based on the quotes provided by partners in architecture and the need to expeditiously proceed with the work.
Copy that. Yes.
We talked once before about this and the sale being contingent on this, but the sale is already final, so.
Right.
I mean,
Well, there's certain, you wouldn't be able to do that boring that we're talking about without having the right to get on the property. To do research in terms of pollutants, you can, correct me if I'm wrong, Gary, but that we could have done in advance of. But this one, it's for a different purpose. It's
Okay.
not,
But have we done the one then, the other one?
no,
Environmental testing?
Yeah, I thought that we talked about that was going to be,
we're
kind of
gonna
important.
take care of that when we, now that we've agreed to the consent judgment, we can move forward with that, so. We just didn't know how long it was gonna take to get to do the procurement, so.
I mean, is there a possibility that there could be a reason that this is done and that the property is not, we're not able to build on it?
Sure you don't want to be in closed session?
I'm gonna make the statement that, I don't think you're gonna find an issue with that. You may find that there are some residual things that can be, overcome, but I think that, we'd still be okay to go forward.
And for that site, the plus side is you're on a municipal water supply, so it's not a worry of concern of contaminations for any soils.
Ken, could you speak up, please?
Part of the issue is that both locations are on municipal water supplies. So the municipal water supplies takes us out of the risk of getting not being able to provide a well that's suitable for potable, basically.
Yeah, but that's not the only concern, and that's not the only reason why you get soil testing done.
So maybe we better
The
go
soil
into
testing is
closed
to
session.
determine whether it has to be compacted. There's a ton of different studies that they have to figure out there that could raise or lower the cost for ground maintenance or ground preparation, the compaction, the perk testing, stuff like that.
Were those prerequisites to closing the deal?
No,
Okay.
no, this is a straight up purchase for the price indicated. And rather than talk about that issue further in public, I'd like to provide you folks with a confidential letter responding to Mary Pat's concern.
That'd be good.
Or, again, if you want to reconsider your vote and reconsider skipping having a closed session, I think you could do that.
Do you have that information with you now, you're saying, that letter?
Yes.
Okay, I would move that we go into closed session.
I would support that.
Let me, wait. Can I suggest we do that at the end of the meeting?
Yes.
And then we can postpone this particular agenda item also until after the closed session if you like.
We can do that.
Yes, let's
Okay,
continue.
so we have a motion to go into closed session by Mary Pat and supported by Judy. And ready to vote on that?
And that is to consult with the attorney regarding the settlement strategy and Highland versus Butternick and the consent judgment previously approved at this meeting.
Okay. Ready to vote? Now, do we have to go into closed session immediately if we vote on it now, or should we? I don't
You
know.
can include in that motion just at the end of
the
this,
meeting?
at
Okay,
the end of the regular agenda.
all right.
That's acceptable?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Salvia?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
thank you.
All right, next item. I'd like to make the motion to approve the first amended interlocal agreement for transportation services regarding WODA. And this is to add Waterford, this is why it's amended, to add Waterford to the transportation agreement. Their board has agreed to be now the fourth party involved in the program, so it's still expanding. And so that's my motion.
Support.
Question?
Yes.
So, we approved the budget on this already, and will all
Yep.
the financials stay the same, or will that change now with the fourth party?
There's on the attached to the agreement are the new financials, which include the 4 communities.
So it's a new budget.
It's a new budget. Our commitments stays the same.
Okay,
What it does is it adds an additional $185,000 from them, plus their other accoutrements that they may put forward.
that's great.
And on that note, our attorney has been present and in the entire process, and also works for Waterford, so it's kind of we get a twofer out of this to a degree, and so he's very well versed in what this is, and has made a lot of significant improvements to the document. So
Yeah, for the board's benefit, if I may, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman, if you approve this, that means all 3 have approved. And the agreement's already been signed by the supervisors of Waterford and White Lake. If you approve it tonight, Rick can sign it. And there are some filing requirements for the Secretary of State and County Clerk, but those should be satisfied by the end of this week so that Waterford is formally a member. If you recall, the agreement requires a list of various documents that need to be approved by the WODA board before it can become operational, with the target date for operations to commence being January 2nd. And I expect that at a WODA board meeting next Wednesday, the 18th, that all of those documents will be approved. Some of them could have been approved today. The thought was, let's wait till Waterford's formally a party so they can also vote on those documents along with White Lake and Highland.
It's great for our patrons that are using it. This really
Yeah.
expands the program for them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, so we had a motion and support, and a vote, please.
Mrs. McDonald?
No.
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, item E is consider waiving option to purchase 5-acre portion of tax parcel 1134-101-020 for a community septic system. This is the property that the DePonios purchased from the township, that we had an option for 5 acres for potential septic use. In the process of working with the engineers and that, it's pretty much determined that we won't be using that 5-acre parcel. It won't be an effective use of it. And so the idea is to take waive the option so that Mr. DePonio can put that 5-acre parcel to use. He's done a pretty good, I'd say a stellar job of adding a facility that, I mean, it's been well received, and been working with the school system and a lot of interactive stuff with the community. So if he can use it, then I think it'd be better served that way if we just waive the final year of the option. So I'm going to make a motion that we waive the option to purchase the 5-acre portion of tax parcel 1134-101-020 for a community septic system.
Support.
Can you continue that by saying I'm authorizing the supervisor to sign a document prepared by the township attorney for recording with the register of deeds to terminate the option to purchase?
Yes, got it.
Which is right at the bottom of my letter.
Yeah, the whole thing.
That thing.
Support.
I'm documented out today.
Me too.
Yeah. You especially, so.
Ready to vote?
I'm ready to vote.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, next item,
Mr.
F.
Supervisor, I have a question.
Yes.
I assume that study that the engineering firm was hired to do is finished?
No,
It's
No.
not finished yet?
no. We're still working on the project, so.
The study itself is not done?
No, there's a lot of elements to this thing, and it's not done yet, so
I just wanna make sure the board as a whole gets a copy of that when it's ready.
we will do that. In fact, I think I have a meeting next 18th with the engineers. Okay, the next item, I'd like to make a motion to approve a change to board policy regarding the meeting schedule. Hopefully everybody's looked at that.
Support.
Comment, question?
Okay, moved and supported, question?
Yes, because we discussed this before, changing the Mondays and everything, but we had, indicated at first a different Monday, I think the last of the month, so now it's the first, and I'm sure there's a reason for that, probably because of the bills and also the newspaper that,
Well, primarily because our lawyer isn't available on
That's what
the
it was.
That would
second
be a
and
good
fourth.
okay, because I just want to say then,
Right.
Some would differ with you, but I'm not going to.
I'm like, I can't.
so I made a
There was a good
mistake already. I scheduled something for next year already that can't be changed for June, that I have a conflict already, so I just want you to be aware of
Did-
that.
I think, I don't know if you looked at the calendar.
I will be too, I think.
June was the first Monday in June was a problem for me, so,
Well, it says June
oh,
first
no,
here.
I'm sorry. It's this, I'm in later,
Okay,
so no,
all
right,
right, just want to make you aware of that.
okay.
That's an early announcement.
Plans are made.
So, this motion relates to the board
The policy
policy,
ahead of
which, originally designated that the meetings would be on the second Wednesday. And so I'm just proposing that we just take out that language, and then we have the flexibility to do what we want,
Okay.
Of course, all meetings are announced prior to the beginning of the year and published that way, but, we could schedule them as we desire.
So there was a markup that was in the
Right,
packet.
and then it also took out the language designating that the agendas would be published on Fridays, because I want to do them earlier now that we're moving to Mondays. So that's just to clean that up before we vote on the schedule as proposed.
Thank you.
All right, so I think I made the motion.
Yep.
And maybe I should add to the motion, approve change to board policy regarding meeting schedule as evidenced by the memorandum in the board packet.
Sounds good.
Who supported that?
Judy?
Yeah, I'm good
Yes.
with that.
Okay,
No, I did, Judy did. I-
Judy did.
all right,
Ready to vote?
yes,
Mrs. Chenoweth?
Yes.
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 No,
Yes,
yes.
Motion carries.
All right, next item is 2020 holidays and meeting dates. That's another document that we produce each year that is put out for the public. So what we're doing is, and that also is accompanied with a calendar that's we'll consider attached. And so I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2020 holidays and meeting dates as evidenced in the documents in the board package.
support.
Moved and supported. Vote, please.
I have a question on that.
I
Yes.
was gonna say, do we want to change that? June date?
That screws with the attorney.
Go ahead. I mean,
And I guess we're gonna,
Question?
We just voted to do it on the first Monday, and there's no first Monday in September on here.
So we voted to remove the language from the board policy which designates it what day the meeting would
So my
be.
question is, why don't we have it on the first day, first Monday in September?
That's Labor Day.
So you're moving it up a day, a month, and you're having two in August.
So there's 5 Mondays in August, and so that spacing allows for 4 weeks between both the August meetings and 4 weeks until the next meeting in October. If we moved it later, then there would be a 5-week span and a 3-week span.
Well, I just wanna go on record that I don't agree with changing meeting dates for personal reasons for the board members. You know, we all signed up for this board knowing what it was, and I don't agree with changing it at this point, so.
But things do happen and things do come up and we all, I mean, we wanna be here
Sure they
and
do.
it's
Sure
tough
they do.
sometimes, like I'm
But
always,
every time I've not been able to, I don't attend,
No.
I don't ask for the board. to
no,
change
I know,
the day.
but I think if we do it now, I have no problem doing, I understand, you know, as we get closer, but if we set their schedule now, if we know, 'cause I know the first week of June is tough for me too, usually first, because I'm gone to Salt Lake City normally. Missed a couple meetings there over the last 6 years, so, you know, I'd say as it gets closer, definitely for sure, but if we're setting the schedule now, I mean, I don't think it's a major problem if we know, I mean, I know Mary Pat wants to be here, that's an early announcement, she's not gonna be here, but and I know it bothers her when she can't make it, or she forgets sometimes, which we all do, and it happens, so, you know. Well, right? Didn't you miss a meeting one time, or, no, never mind, maybe it was me, I don't know, but I forget a lot of stuff anymore, but anyways, but I think it's just, if we know now, I don't have a problem. Personally, I think it's, so we all wanna be here if we can, that's, you know, I hate to miss it all, so.
All right. Vote, please.
Mrs. Cooper?
yes.
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 No,
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Next item is resolution 19-35 to approve bank depositories for 2020. This is something we have to do every year, and this is Judy's ballywick. Do you need to describe any of this, or?
Not really, this is just a basic housekeeping, we just need to approve what banks we invest in every year, and, this is pretty much the same as it was last year, so
All right.
I would request your approval, please.
I move to approve resolution 19-35 to approve the bank depositories for 2020.
Support. So moved and supported. Vote, please.
I vote yes.
Yes.
yes,
yes,
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
All right, next item is resolution number 19-36, performance resolution for Michigan Department of Transportation. This is something we have to do each year with the MDOT so that we can place signs and do work or whatever within the right-of-way for Michigan highways. So I'll move to approve resolution number 19-36, performance resolution for Michigan Department of Transportation.
Support.
Moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mr. Sevian?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, next item, I'd like to move to approve the hiring of Patrice Dixon as Highland Activity Center janitor. As I hope most of you know, Mary Rose retired, and so we need to have somebody that's going to take her place. And the motion is to start employment on January 6th as a part-time janitor of 2020 at a rate of $13 per hour for 16 hours on average, not to exceed 29 hours per week.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mrs. McDonald?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, the next item is one of the things that we've done is we've changed. We no longer have an in-house maintenance person due to conditions that we don't need to discuss right now, but we have kind of made the decision that it makes sense to hire a cleaning company to come in that'll do all of the cleaning in the building. So in your packet, you'll see in the memorandum that there's a company called, we put out 4 quotes. We took in 3 quotes. The 3 quotes are on the memorandum here. And I'd like to make the motion to hire 2 moms and a mop. 1 full cleaning, 1 small cleaning per week for an amount of $6,216 per year.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
And 2 moms and a mop is now a Highland company, so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Next item is, these are all budget amendments. So, item L, budget amendment for the building department. That is because our activity in our community is much higher than we anticipated in terms of building permits. So the cost for inspections is up, and so is the revenue. And so we need to do a budget amendment. That's for this year, right?
Right.
So I move that we approve the budget amendment for building department
Support.
as presented.
Support.
Moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mrs. Chenoweth?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Next one is budget amendment for elections. Tammy, you want to?
Sure, we had a special election this year, and this just allows for, you know, that to be not an issue in our audit, but, you know, we'll be getting reimbursed for all this money from Huron Valley Schools and Oakland Community College, and the reimbursement won't come in until next budget year, but we have to have it budgeted for in this year.
All right, so I make a motion to approve the budget amendment for elections as
Support.
presented. Moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Budget amendment for refuse. This is a kind of an interesting one because we've added 70 homes, new homes.
Wow.
So that's a plus, you know, that's one of the things we haven't seen in a few years. So in doing so, we have to add to the budget for that, which wasn't, you know, we didn't anticipate that many new homes. So I'll make a motion to approve the budget for refuse as presented.
Support.
Moved and supported. Vote, please.
I vote yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, this one. Gary, what do we do on this one?
No, this is fine.
This is okay? I mean, okay. Anyways, budget amendment for fire capital. I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
So, yeah, just so everybody knows, because whether or not we do the soil testing, if we vote on that later, regardless, it's provided for here. If we don't decide to spend it, we won't spend it. But this is just to make sure that that fund has a budget for the year, which going into this fiscal year, we had no idea what amounts would be spent this year versus next year.
All right, so we have a motion and
Support. Yeah.
support. Vote,
Yeah.
please.
Mr. Salvia?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, the next item is budget amendment for transportation program.
Missed Activity Center.
Activity Center.
Oh, I missed one. Activity center, I'm sorry. Budget amendment for the activity center, and that's because there's a differential in what was paid for that position and what's going to be paid. It went from $11 to $13 an hour, and I don't know how many of you, when you hear $11 or $13, see that as any significant amount of money. But we have somebody that wants to work for that amount, so
And this is a 2020 amendment.
yes.
Because we had already projected the job out before we knew Mary Rose was leaving.
All right, so motion to approve budget amendment for the activity center janitor.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mrs. McDonald?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, next item, transportation, budget amendment for transportation program. We've discussed this kind of as we've moved along, that one of the things that happens is the funding for the bus program is, the receipt is on demand. So in other words, after we've paid for it, then it's submitted to SMART for reimbursement. And the reimbursements were coming in, you know, especially like now, we don't know if they're gonna come in until probably after January 1st. And our auditors have identified some issues where, Judy, why don't you describe what, it has an effect on what happens at the state level too, so.
So what happens if we don't get reimbursed before the end of the year? And they give us a certain amount of time, but last year it took longer than we expected to, so it ended up that the transportation fund on paper showed a deficit. So we had to submit a deficit elimination plan to the state, and if the state would not have approved that, we don't have the capability to bond. So the firehouse wouldn't have been able to move forward regardless of our credit rating and everything else that's good. So we thought that if we put $100,000 in there, we know that that's covered. Those funds will be reimbursed, and when we kind of balance out the transportation fund after all the reimbursements funds come in, the plan is whatever's left will come back to the general fund. And there's literally no way to predict what that's going to be.
Right, and those funds will be, even though WODA will have been formed, the request for reimbursement is based on the current program. So those monies, as they come in, will go to Highland to reimburse it. It won't go into the WODA program.
Until January 2nd.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. but it protects us from having an issue with ponding, and
That was a mess.
it
Just
was
saying.
really kind of silly for the amount of money,
It
but
was.
anyways, so I make the motion to approve the transportation program budget amendment as presented.
Support.
Moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
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 No,
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
Okay, do we need to do anything with this list of bills that was put on here?
We already priced that.
Okay.
Yes, for the consent
Sorry,
agenda.
though.
We just need a motion to go into closed
We already
session.
did.
All right, so, I guess we can,
You already voted to have a closed session.
so we go
Okay,
into
so we
closed
can just
session
go
at this time, so,
Deflex all of.
okay, we turn to open session. And, I'd like to make a motion, to proceed with the topographical and geotechnical surveys. We probably need two motions, Gary? Yeah, we're gonna need two motions. So the first motion will be for the geotechnical survey, testing engineers and consulting. The price that was given was $17,183 for station 1 and 2, and I'm gonna put in there not to exceed $18,000. That's my motion.
Waiving the purchasing costs based on the quotes provided by partners in architecture and the expeditiously proceed with the work.
That. Now, we're gonna replicate that again on the next one.
Yes.
So, all right, so that's the motion.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mrs. Chenoweth?
Yes.
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 no.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, the next motion is to approve the topographical survey to be done by Environmental Engineers, Inc. For Fire Station 1 and 2. The amount was $14,600, and I recommend not to exceed $15,000 with the attorney's additional conditions.
Did you say 15?
15,000.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
All right. I think that was it, wasn't it?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting adjourned.